Excited. Okay, welcome to Coffee Hour. Today, we're going to talk about something that's already happening inside of most organizations, whether it's been officially discussed or not. AI tools are showing up in meetings, in code, in documentation, and in decision making. Security teams are asking how to protect data, governance teams are asking how to stay compliant. And leaders are trying to stay balanced while matching speed, responsibility, trust, costs, all of that responsibility at lightning speed. Karina is the CEO of Clever Compliance, and she brings a perspective that cuts through the noise by focusing on how real organizations actually make decisions when technology moves faster than policy. This isn't about banning tools or predicting the future, even. It's about what responsible innovation looks like right now in today's world. Karina, welcome. And when you look at how teams are adopting these tools today, what's the first thing that stands out to you?
They're not doing data classification. They don't have well-defined workflows and they haven't structured their data. And that makes their attempts at, operationalizing a workflow an epic fail over and over and
Uh
over.
huh.
So when you have the workflow defined and you've defined really well the data that that workflow is consuming, whether it's storing it, transporting it, or processing it, right? You got your NIST CSF v2 basics there. Now you're actually able to say, okay, I can predict and associate my workflow with that data that's being used because the data has been classified, mapped, and structured. And when you have that structuring in place and that mapping in place, now you know where that data travels so that you can accurately uh, align it so that it helps the workflow so that the workflow can get automated. There's a bunch of, with AI, especially right now, number one, people are not using AI from a vendor management perspective, which they should be. AI tool needs to undergo your vendor management due diligence. I'm not saying send an 800 questionnaire to the AI tool, but what
Uh
I'm
huh.
saying is know very specifically if your data is getting sent to that AI, what data is it? Where is it stored? There are lawsuits that are going on about this, right?
Yeah, I wanted to actually, if you just walked right into it. Um, Tell us about this Otter AI lawsuit that's going on right now.
Yeah, so Otter AI, the use case here is Otter AI was a note taker on a meeting between an executive and a salesperson on a very recurring basis for a while. No one had really asked where Otter AI was storing its data, not the salesperson who introduced the note taker into the meeting, nor did the executive who was having the meeting with the note taker on, right? And some very confidential things were discussed. Some
Which is always a good thing to do in any business situation.
super confidential stuff, right? Finances, org stuff.
Like girlfriends and everything.
I mean, people, right? I mean, it's like, I, this goes beyond like a code of conduct. This is not only should you have a policy for, um, what you should and should not put into your AI platforms, but you should also have a policy for just lack of common sense, for common slander when you're talking to people or posting other stuff on social media. Like, you can't go to a party and say your boss is an ass. It's just, I
Right.
mean, especially if it's a work party. I mean, what? Watch how much you've drank, right? I mean, it's like crap like that, where it's like you put this into AI. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, look, AI, right? I remember when the internet first started. I'll go back to this question, the story in a second. When the internet first started, we all thought it was so authoritarian, and so it's on the screen and it has all the right answer. It was so important, and it was gonna. save you from that trip to the library, because damn it, the library's already closed. I mean, I wonder if Bobby's encyclopedia is recent enough for me to get this answer right down the street. I wonder if Bobby's home, right? So, I mean, we used to go through all of these hurdles. Now we have the internet. We're like, oh my God, it's a savior. This is amazing. It's giving us all of the right answers. And it took us a little bit of time to figure out that not all the answers were 100% true. AI is all of that data amplified by a million.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Right? We all have biases because, hey, you might like ride bikes and I might like to ride bikes. And so maybe you're an RVer and I'm an RVer. Because of that, we have this thing called affinity bias. The golfer is going to go hire the golfer because there's an affinity bias. It's just the way we're built. It's not because we're bad. It's just that we're built this way as humans, right? If I'm a single mom and you're a single mom,
It's just natural affinity. You have that connection.
if we're single moms together, we already have an affinity. It's a kinship. It's an affinity bias, and we're seeing biases in AI, and nobody's like, oh my god, it's biased. Well, we are, right? So I mean, just by nature. So anyway, so Otter AI is present in these phone calls. A lot of very confidential information is shared and exchanged over a long period of time. No one has bothered to ask where this data is being stored. The data gets hacked. All of a sudden, the executive gets pulled into the boardroom. Why are you sharing all the company data? What's going on? And he's like, "What are you talking about? I haven't talked to anybody. There's no, I mean." And now all of these gory, horrible details about the company are disclosed and available publicly. Um, and then this lawsuit starts. So this is where we kind of get into the difficulties with third party risk management, is that that contract that you have ends at the point where you send that vendor data, the end. Now that vendor is probably sending your data on to their vendors, and their vendors are probably sending your data on to their vendors. But all you can do is control what you can, which means tighten your own contract, because this perpetuation ad nauseum for infinity of your data being moved on is really the thing that's causing very many of the data breaches we have today.
Hmm. And these are going to accelerate because it's so easy to hack things nowadays, and even kids can start hacking thanks to DeepSeek and other open source, and even general AI nowadays is too powerful of a tool. I love it, so I say it with a tongue in cheek, but it's going to become a big issue, which is why I was so excited to have you on the call today. Even one of my clients recently had brought in another team, did some stuff, and inadvertently opened up some challenges. And they're still dealing with problems over what looked like a very innocent situation.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because so much of this stuff. So I'm going to say a few things. Governance turned into a really huge moneymaker across many decades because it kept clients horribly confused. And there were people who realized that if we keep clients confused, they're just going to keep coming back. And if we throw the word regulation and framework in there, they're going to get really scared. We're going to say, you're going to go to jail because you're going to get handcuffs on you. And they're going to be like, let me write you a check. And you know what?
Right? Keep me out of jail.
That kind of happens. And the magic sauce to this is, let's just keep everybody confused. So here come these 12,000 row checklists and the 28,000 row checklists of ethereal words that mean nothing, that are not appropriate for your operations, your industry, your size, your locate, right? I mean, your text. These controls are written to be vague by design because they're written for people who want to participate in building a framework that's going to sell more copies.
Hmm. Yes.
Right? So the more companies that can adopt it, the more industries that can use it, right, the more copies are going to get sold. Great way to go into retirement when you bring 40 years of knowledge from your industry to that table of those professionals who sit down and write those frameworks. Rock on, right? But we have to understand that that's that model there. And that when you come in and you say, I want to do FedRAMP and CMMC and PCI and HIPAA and ISO 27001 and 27701 and a SOC 2 and maybe COBIT, can you? Sure, you can.
Uh-huh. Yep.
However, you have to understand that every single one of those control frameworks and regulations asks for things like a common competency, access control, a common competency, encryption, a common competency, DRBCP, all of those regulations and frameworks have the very same core structure. It doesn't mean that you have to go and have satisfy 1,200 rows for DRBCP. It means you have to have one policy, one process, one standard that you use that is
Yep.
appropriate for your actual operations, that you can point up to these line items and say, this is what I've met in this, in which regulation, in which framework.
And that's super key, the appropriate to your situation.
That is what everybody's getting wrong, right? They think that compliance is, I'm going to take this 12,000 row checklist and confuse the hell out of myself and run around in circles, go hire a company that brings 70 people into my office and they walk aimlessly like zombies in the hallway, and like you ask them what they're doing and they're like, I don't know either. Right? I
Right.
mean, but
It's
I'm
like,
going
I'm
to
busy reading the checklist, and there's a million things there
I'm
left.
right. I'm going to get you that canned report. We've got a template for that. What does it say? I'm not sure. So it's
Yep.
like, so I mean, but this is what people know as compliance. And it is such a horrible, we've screwed ourselves so
Mhm.
badly, because governance, the intent was always to just secure your environment, to make
Mhm.
controls in your own operations appropriate for your operations. So when something goes wrong, you
Mhm.
can fix it. It's not an auditor driven thing. If the
Yep.
auditor shows up and you have all of your evidence in one place and you're like, here you go, here's my
Yep.
control, here's where it failed, I opened up a risk for it, and now here's how I mitigated my risk. And so this is
Mm.
what I changed because of that mitigation. Here's all of my evidence for the last year. They're going to hug you and take you to lunch.
Yep.
They're not there to bite your head off. But if you're just blatantly negligent, you stick your head in the sand and you're like, let's not write anything down. So then that way, when the auditors come,
I'll be
nothing
mysterious.
to check, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing to check.
There's no proof except
There's
for
no
what's on the
proof.
internet nowadays.
I mean, and it's kind of sad, and it's it's been very difficult to change this mindset. I'm actively trying to do it. I have colleagues who are actively trying to do it. But it's a misnomer on a lot of different fronts. And the other problem is the IT industry is consumed by tools and platforms
Yep.
and subscriptions.